And Amanda joins us now. She also sits on the board of the Innocence Center, which works to free the wrongfully convicted from prison. The co-founder and CEO of All In Together, Lauren Leader, also joins us for this conversation. Great to see you, Amanda. Thank you for being here. Let's just start simply with the footage we just played here coming into this segment. What is that like for you to watch today?
Well, I wasn't aware that I was going to be seeing some crime scene footage today. It's honestly a little triggering, I'll be honest. This was the worst experience of my life. It's something that if I had never even been wrongly accused of committing this murder, just coming home and discovering that my house had been broken into and someone I was close to had been brutally murdered the way that Meredith was would have been a hugely defining trauma of my life. And so it's not easy. And I think one of my main points that I make in my new book, Free, is that I'm not free in the way that, like, you might think. I have not been entirely vindicated and freed. My name has not been cleared. It has not been recognized that I am a completely innocent person in this case. But that doesn't stop me from having the ability to take a deep breath, acknowledge the past for what it is, and how it informs who I am as a person, but does not define me. So
you're saying that you're not free just yet, at least not fully free. Well, talk to us about the motivation of wanting to write the book and focusing on the part of your life after what we just showed.
Absolutely. Well, I think there's this inclination when someone has been through a traumatic experience. You see this a lot in wrongful conviction cases, but also in stories of people who have just been through something that was really difficult and they got through it. There's this idea that that is their story, and once they're done, once the crisis is over, that is the end. No more to see here. But really, I think a more fascinating story and a more personal story is the one where you come out of this crazy experience that hit you like a train. Now what? Who are you? How do you make sense of that experience? How do you incorporate that into who you are? And how does that inform how you now integrate yourself back into the world? Which was a truly fraught proposition for me. I talk in the book not just about what it was like to have media chasing me around, and I was now no longer an anonymous college student. I was now a girl wrongly accused of murder for the rest of my life. What could I possibly do to define myself if it wasn't this thing that had defined me? But beyond that, it was just being tortured by this why question. Why did this happen to me, and will I ever be truly free? Because, I thought I might be able to go back to having the life that I had, and that did not exist. And so what do? So what? Now what? What does it mean? And I went on this long journey, making mistakes along the way, trusting the wrong people, getting taken advantage of, and then ultimately putting myself in a very vulnerable position to ask the man who had put me in prison why he had did this to me, and if he had ever thought about changing his mind.
I was fascinated by, given what you said about just the extraordinary public scrutiny. I mean, you've had your entire life in the press, minute by minute, for years and years, what you felt you needed to say, either to define yourself, and this is your second book as well, what you felt you needed to say now to maybe rewrite some of that narrative, or why you felt compelled to keep speaking publicly. I'm sure there's a part of you that would like to disappear and stop being in the public eye at some point, but why now? Why this second book?
Well, this book is a very different book than my first book, which was very much about setting the record straight about what had happened and what was going on in the trials. It was very a kind of reaction to the narrative that was being built up around me, and I was still in the midst of that legal crisis. This book didn't need to exist, right? Like, it was not a book that I'm putting this book out there in the world to be like, believe me. That's not what this book is. This is a book where I realized that I learned something over the course of trying to regain some sense of self and unpacking that horrible quandary that I'm in, where my identity is now inextricably linked with the death of my friend that I had nothing to do with. What does that mean? And I learned so much about what it means to exist in the world, what it means to find your place. And ultimately, my goal is not about proving anything about myself. It's about connecting with others and making it sort of showing and telling through this book what it looks like to overcome an extremely life-defining traumatic experience.
The new book, Free, My Search for Meaning, it's on sale now. Amanda Knox, we appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Thank you.